Choosing the right pricing model for your business is one of the most crucial decisions you can do. It can either make or break your business. I'm going to show you today the top 10 pricing models that I use frequently and that I would recommend you to get started with. I'm going to show you which ones I would recommend if you're just a beginner, and I'll show you the ones I use personally as well. So let's get into this. I've made a document, so if you want the exact document that I'm showing you here, all you gotta do is just head to the website, click on freebies, and there it is. Everything's for free. All the documents I'm showing here you can just download and get. So let's get back to the video. So I'm going to show you all 10 pricing models in just a sec, but before we get into it, it's just very important to keep in mind there's many different businesses. I'm going to strictly talk about B2B and B2C lead generation. So whether you're doing agency work, coaching, consulting, any type that relates to that, even info offers, but most common, right, like is lead gen. But first, before we get into any of that, we got to understand what the pricing strategy is all about and what it is that you need to always keep in mind. So number one, value perception. So the client must perceive your service as valuable compared to the competitors. So I'm going to show you what this means exactly. So you don't want to underprice yourself, because if you do, then your service is just going to be underlooked. The higher you price your services, the more value your client is going to attribute to it. It's just an inverse relationship. That the less you want to charge, the less you charge, the more customers you think you're going to have, but it's not actually the case. You're going to have just more customers that are more problematic and end up paying you less. So that's not something that you want ultimately. Next is number two, risk reversal. So lower the risk for the client, easier to scale, right? So I'm going to show you what this means in a sec as well, and how you can apply it into your offers. Number three is scalability. So you got to make sure it's actually scalable. You can just reliably go back to the same model over and over again for the same client. You don't want to mix and match different pricing models, and I'll show you why. You can have two, just more than one, but having like 3, 4, 5 is just gonna crumble your whole operation. So next is market expectations. So you got to understand like what the market is charging, and there's a reason for why your competitors are pricing their products and services in such ways. So number 5 is revenue predictability. This just goes back to scalability. Some models provide you with scalable income, while others fluctuate. So you might get like a one-time 25-30k per engagement type deal, but you're not going to get those every single day. That's the understanding behind it. Let's go into the first one, and I'm going to show you all the rest. First one is the retainer. Is the classic, the truest agency one. I'm going to show you how it works if you don't know. Basically, the client is just going to pay you a fixed monthly fee for ongoing services. And by the way, for all of these, I'll just show you what it is, pros, the cons, and what it's best for. If you're running any type of cold email offer, any type of lead gen offer, any type of info offer, this is going to relate to you. Pros for this, it's predictable because every single month your client is going to pay the same amount. The cons, after a bad month, your clients are going to churn. So it's going to make it harder to scale. So it's only predictable if you know what you're doing and if you're getting good results for the client. Because realistically, everybody thinks like this, and that's just the flaw with this model, and that's why I don't consider this like number one or the best model, is because realistically you're not going to have the same months every single month in terms of performance for your agency, coaching offer, whatever it is that you're selling. Every single client is just going to look at, like, for example, August, you do really well for the client, and they're going to look at it, okay, let's keep it on, let's see how it goes. But September goes and it flops for whatever reason. It just flops. They're gonna cancel on you, or most likely gonna give you a shot to go back to the highs that you had in August. And by the time October comes around, if you cannot deliver on that, basically they're just gonna cancel on you. This is good if you know what you're doing, if you have proven service delivery, and if you are well established with case studies, because there's a big fear companies paying retainers, especially signing contracts. Next is the pay per lead model. Basically, simple as it sounds, just the client is going to pay for a lead. Pros of this, it's just easy to sell for more physical businesses. So if you're selling to local service type businesses, it is just very easy. For example, like roofing businesses, you could sell leads to very easily. The cons of this, quality control issues, so clients may dispute the quality of lead. Very simple on how you can get around this is, number one, just agree beforehand that they pay for every single lead, right? So if you're paying them 100 leads a month, they're gonna pay you $100 per each lead. Then that means they cannot dispute anything, because the bad ones, or the ones that are not gonna convert, maybe not super qualified, they are already priced into the payment itself. So that's why you charge $100 instead of 200. You could just explain it that way, that the no-shows, the unqualified ones, are already priced into the lead. So that's it. Best for lead gen agencies and anyone with a strong targeting system. Next is pay-per appointment. Very similar to lead, except it's just appointment. So you schedule meetings instead of, leads. So you do a little bit more work. You actually convert the lead into an appointment. Again, same story, quality issue. Some people could say like the lead is not qualified, they did not show up, same problem. You could just charge $200, $300. Again, depends on what the client actually makes. And then just agree to it before the actual like payments and the agreement, that they're going to pay regardless of the quality of the lead, and everything is just priced into the model itself. Next is pay per show. So as you can see, we're stepping up once a notch. So they only pay when an appointment is attended. This again just builds upon that trust, and you can actually just charge more if you want to do more work. So for example, whereas you could charge $100, let's say for lead, in just a fictional example, you could charge $200 for an appointment, and then you could charge $250 or $300 for a showed appointment, right? Whatever the price would be worth for the business. It's hard to track though, and again, you just gotta be careful with people just lying about this. And I could put here qualified model as well, like paper qualified appointment, but you get the point. You could play around with these are really the main ones I would recommend you to go with, especially if you're beginner. I'll give you my tips on what we use, and I'll share my personal feedback as my recommendations. So let's just go on. So revenue share is the fifth one. This is basically when you get a percentage of revenue. We could actually put revenue / profit share. It depends on the company. If they have large profit margins, sometimes it's just better to go with that, because revenue is, the most companies don't like to do revenue shares based on the fact that their profit margin is not super high. But if it is, you can go with that. So you basically take a percentage of revenue generated. So it's usually small, it's usually below like 10%. But it's very good if you can do good results for the clients. But it's bad if again cannot deliver well, and it's very hard to track. For example, there's no way for you to know whether or not the client actually signed, unless you're invited into their internal CRM, which obviously you need to agree to beforehand. That's kind of the thing. All right, next one is setup fee plus performance fee model. So what is this, right? How it works is the client pays you an initial setup fee for the service. So whether you're doing cold email for them, whether you're doing ads for them, you charge them $3K, and then a performance fee. So you could decide if it's a pay per lead, you could decide if it's a revenue split model, whatever it is that you want to go with. The point is they pay for the infrastructure ahead of time, and then for the leads that you generate. So this is very simple, very beginner friendly. I would recommend this if you're just starting out. Even if you're scaling, this is something that is quite good, because you have basically no downside. The infrastructure is already covered for, and then you get performance-based incentives as well. Sometimes you could just go extra crazy and just throw on a revenue share as well. Some deals we have done like that, and it can work very, very well. Next is the free trial method. I would avoid this personally, because you're just going to get tire kickers unless you're testing a new offer and you're testing a new service delivery for something that you have no idea what you're doing. You could go with this. Otherwise, I would not do it, because it's just going to attract low quality clients who are just going to be a big headache to deal with. Next is upfront results discrepancy model. So how does this work? And I'll explain. So instead of charging a setup fee, so let's say you want to charge them $3K setup fee, but they are hesitant, you can downsell them on this upfront result discrepancy guarantee model. What does that mean? Like, it sounds complicated, it sounds stupid. The big point of this, let's say you want to charge them $300 per call, and then the goal is to get them a 3K setup fee. So you can frame it as this. So you can sell them 300 pay per call, so which means you're going to get them 10 calls for free, but they pay this ahead of time. So what that means is they have to pay you $3,000, and you're going to guarantee them 10 calls. So basically you get your setup fee, but you just have to book them 10 calls. With this model, it allows you to charge upfront guarantee results, and whatever is that you did not fulfill on, you could just have the guarantee. Like let's say you only book them, or whatever is that, like the engagement that you want to do, like let's say it's 2 months, so within a 2-month time period you only managed to book 8 calls. That means, you know, 8 times 300, you refund the difference, which is basically you make 2.4k, and then you just refund the 600 bucks. That's it. You know, you got to be a little bit more careful with this, but this is just something super easy to downsell onto a client if they're not willing to jump on a setup fee plus performance. This is something that you can easily get them on. And next is something that I like to do personally. It just works really, really well, is a stealth retainer method. So what is this, right? Like it's basically like a Trojan horse type retainer where you know, frame it as a performance-based offer, or you could just have it as a setup fee plus performance. So let's say I go ahead and charge them 3k for the setup, I charge them 300 per call, and then after 3 months it's going to turn into a 3k retainer, and that's written in the contract. If they agree to it, cool. If no, they can cancel anytime. You can let them know of this ahead of time. Obviously, just talk with them, don't just charge them. But most people, you know, if they're happy with the service, this is just something that you can just easily get onto them. It's just easier to manage a retainer client, but again, it's got their pluses and negatives as well, so you can decide with this whatever you want. And finally, market pays model. So what is this? It's basically you charge a small fee for a high value lead magnet and pass the lead to the business. This is basically like doing affiliate marketing. It creates additional revenue streams, requires strong marketing and niche expertise. This is something I do on a daily basis, basically just refer people to the software I use. I don't get any cut from it because I always give back the savings to you guys, but this is something that you can do to also make money. You could call this affiliate marketing. This is obviously something that is viable if you have a somewhat, you know, big of a platform, but you can also refer friends and etc. So it's not everyone's cup of tea. Obviously it's not going to work really well if you have no network. If you're just starting out, let's just go back and just summarize. You can do free trial if you're testing and just trying to pivot to a new offer. If you already know what you're doing, you can go with setup fee plus performance. If they are hesitant, you go with an upfront results and discrepancy guarantee model. This works really, really well for lead generation services. And then finally, you can upsell them on a retainer. You can even do this, right? Like stealth retainer with the upfront result guarantee. You can combine these. That's the sort of beauty of this. But you can go more simple, retainer, pay per lead, right? I know a lot of people making a lot of money with just pay per lead models. Problem is you're gonna have a lot of issues with clients not wanting to pay for the bad leads, even though you might have agreed to it beforehand. You have signed the contract with them. They're not gonna be happy. Like let's say you get them 10 really bad leads and then they have to pay for it. It doesn't really sit well with them. Like even though they're like the 11th or 12th one could be a big deal for them, they're not going to be very happy. That's just my 2 cents. You can do with this information whatever you want, but in order to just choose the right model, just make sure you just assess your risk tolerance as well as your clients. Each client has its different vibes. Like obviously you could tell whether or not it's going to be a problematic client or not, whether or not it's just going to be smooth sailing. You're going to evaluate your cash flow needs, so you know whether you can go without being paid up front or having that initial setup fee is just a requirement. Like for example, if you're doing email marketing, obviously you need the emails, you need the whole infrastructure. If you want to do ads for them, obviously you need that as well. But for example, if you're doing like a service-based offer but it doesn't go into any software, it's just mainly your time, you know, you can kind of go off that and just like work around that. So you could just play around that like based on completion. Next is just consider again scalability and look at your competitors, what they're charging. And for example, just something before I leave this off is pricing model guidelines, like how much to charge for revenue share basis. I haven't explained this previously, revenue or profit share. This is a guideline I generally go off of. It depends. These are mainly just for like lead generation types offers. So you could go with this, right? Like per lead, per appointment, per show, per revenue share. I have given you an exact number which you can just pull back into your offers. So for example, if the client is making low ticket lifetime value, charge this amount, mid ticket charge this, and high ticket just make this. If you want the doc, again, come to the website, you can download it or just make a screenshot of this, and then you can have it and implement it into your business. If you have any questions, you can just join the free community. It's on my page here. You can just ask me questions. You can join the Discord. If I'm not able to get to you, someone else from the community will. Hopefully this gives you a little bit of a better idea on what you can charge on the market. There's many things you can combine and actually play around with this. You don't need to stick to one. You could just, you know, go from one to the other one and then transcend, see which one works best for you. Obviously you're not going to know right away, but you should have a vague idea based on the qualification metrics which one should fit for your business. All right, that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.